following is a reading about duality from Srila Prabhupada books, conversations, lectures, etc. So, Indian man. Why there is duality in this world? Prabhupada. There is no duality. There is one, Krishna. But you have created duality. That is Maya. When you forget Krishna, that is duality. When you think that there is something else other than Krishna, that is duality. So people are not coming to Krishna consciousness, that is duality. They are thinking that they can be happy without Krishna, that is duality. If they know it perfectly well that Krishna is one, and therefore my interest is with Krishna, my interest should not be different from Krishna's interest, that is oneness. Just like in a family the head is a father, so if anyone acts according to the head of the family, there is no duality. If some of the members say, no, I will act like this, there is duality. So if everyone acts according to the desire of Krishna, there is no duality. There is oneness. But we don't act, therefore there is duality. Therefore duality is Maya. So you have a question? Right. It was a reading conversation, a lecture, Bhagavad Gita 7.1.3, 1 through 3. London, August 4, 1971. Jitatmanah prashantasya paramatma samahitah sidoshna sukadhukeshu tata manapamanayoho. Bhagavad Gita 6.7. Sitoshna sukha dukkha. Duality, we have got in this material world duality. Just like this is now summer season, then again we will have winter season, snowfall. Sita Ushna, Sita means winter season and Ushna means summer season. Sitoshna Sukha Dukkheshu, similarly happiness and distress. Tata Manapa Manayoho, similarly honor and dishonor, because in this world, the world of duality, dual world, everything is to be understood by duality. We cannot understand what is honor if there is no dishonor. If I am not insulted, I cannot understand what is honor. So manapa manayoho. Similarly, I cannot understand what is misery if I have not tasted happiness. Or I cannot understand what is happiness if I have not understood misery. So similarly, I cannot understand what is cold if I have not tasted hot. This world is of duality. So one has to transcend. So long this body is there, this duality feeling will continue. Bhagavad Gita 6.4 through 12, New York, September 4, 1966. Dr. Patel. Dvandva Moha means all duality. Prabhupada, yes, duality. He is making duality. The Krishna's interest and my interest different. Mr. Sir, all likes and dislike. Prabhupada, Krishna's interest and my interest different. That is Dvandva Moha. When you understand that my interest and Krishna's interest is the same, then it is not Dvandva Moha. Dr. Patel, Dvandva Mohena Bharata. Prabhupada. Mr. Sir, Esham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam. So it was a reading from Morning Walk Conversation, March 31, 1974, Bombay. Swarupa Dhamodara, duality, Prabhupada. No, relative truth. You don't understand relative. Relative means you can't understand anything without the other. That is called relative. Suppose if I say good man, I cannot understand a good man without having another man, bad man. This is called relative truth. Is it clear or not? Swarupa Dhamodara. How about the duality? Prabhupada, duality, not so expressive, relative, in relation to another. That is exact. Why duality? There are so many. Swarupa Dhamodara, opposite, one opposite to another. Prabhupada, yes, just the opposite. Yes, you cannot understand light without darkness. This is relative. Unless there is darkness, how you can say this is light? So opposite. You can say opposite. Now this knowledge is there. Everyone knows, but where is that absolute where the bad and good, the black and white, everything coincides, that is absolute. Everything is there, that is not distinction. Everything is there, that is called absolute Brahman. That means Brahman means the biggest. Now when you speak something big, so everything is included. Big means bad and good, everything is included. Otherwise how it can be big? Big means just like when you speak of Los Angeles, so there are so many things bad and good in Los Angeles, all included, is it not? Yes. So Brahma means Brahma, Brihatva, being the largest. The largest means it contains everything. Just like the sky, we have got the idea. The sky means it contains everything universal. This is the idea of greatest. So Atahato Brahma Jignasa means we are now studying the relative truth. I am studying black, you are studying white. He is studying another. This way partial. But what is the biggest thing which includes everything? That is called Brahma Jignasa, to inquire about that thing. Just like you are studying chemistry, we are studying Krishna consciousness, but there is something which contains the chemistry. Krishna means Krishna consciousness and everything. That is called Brahman. Athato Brahma Jignasa. The animal life, the subject matter, a small animal, is concerned where to eat, where to sleep, where to find my food, shelter. This is their business, no other business. They are not concerned with the biggest thing. But this human form of life is to inquire about the biggest. That includes everything. So next code is Janma Desetaha. The biggest thing is the original source of everything, where from everything has come. How to know that? Sastrayo Nitvat. You have to learn it from the Vedas. In this way, Sutras are given one after another. What is the nature of that thing? Anandamayo Bhyasa, Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12. In this way, all codes are there and go on searching one after another. You will get full knowledge of the greatest absolute truth. That this is Vedanta. What is that? Morning walk, April 29, 1973, Los Angeles. So Kunti could understand, the devotees can understand. So he has no partiality. Nobody should misunderstand. Nobody should misunderstand that Krishna has got partiality. No. This partiality and enmity, friendliness, these are material. Duality. Here we cannot understand good unless there is bad. Therefore it is called relative world. We cannot understand father unless there is son. We cannot understand good man unless there is bad man. So these things, duality or relative world, they should exist in this material world. Therefore, in order to approach to the spiritual world, one should become above this duality. This duality means the intermixture of the modes of material nature. Traigunya. The Sanskrit word is Traigunya. So Krishna advised Arjuna, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. Traigunya Vishaya Abheda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. So how one can become above these three gunas, Nistraigunya? Simply by devotional service, unalloyed devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.29, Mayapura, October 9, 1974. Devotee, but those men of virtuous deeds whose sin has come to an end, free from delusion of dualities, worship me steadfastly. Avowed. Prabhupada, yes, so to worship Krishna steadfast means is liberated from delusion. That is mukti. One has got still some doubt. Why shall I worship Krishna? That means still in delusion. And still the reaction of his sinful life is not finished. A slight doubt means there is slight tinge still. And one who is Nidvandva Moha Nirmukta, duality means whether I shall do it or not, whether I shall stick up to this process of Krishna consciousness or not. This is called duality. So one who is free from all these sinful reactions, he has no more duality, he has firm faith. Yes, Krishna worship is the final. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 20.142, New York, November 30, 1966. Mr. O'Grady. But the system insists that you think yourself American or Indian or African or whatever. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, materialistic society means duality. Mr. O'Grady. But what that is unavoidable. How can you avoid material existence? Srila Prabhupada. That is possible in Krishna consciousness. The lotus lives in the water but never touches the water. Mr. O'Grady. I don't think you can explain situation in one area with metaphors from another. How can you argue political problems in terms of vague spiritual concepts? Their nature is completely different. Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes a variety of examples helps us to understand or appreciate the problem better. In the ways there is a variety of flowers, and that variety helps us better appreciate the idea of flowers. From any point of view, Krishna can resolve all problems. Why just the problems of Irishmen or Englishmen? All problems. That is called unity in diversity. Our students come from different backgrounds, but because they are all in Krishna consciousness, they are unified. Mr. O'Grady. Very good. Yes, I accept that. I would like to know though that when you say Krishna consciousness, is there any difference between that and Christ consciousness? Srila Prabhupada. No, there is no difference. Christ came to preach the message of God. If you actually become Christ conscious, you become Krishna conscious. Mr. O'Grady. And thus becoming Krishna conscious or God conscious means becoming self-conscious. That is conscious of who we really are. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, God consciousness includes self-consciousness, but self-consciousness is not necessarily God conscious. Science of self-realization, exploring the spiritual frontier, and awareness of what is best and most beautiful. Yoga as freedom from duality and designation. This material world is a world of duality. At one moment we are subjected to the heat of the summer season, and at the next moment the cold of winter. Or at one moment we are happy, and at the next moment distressed. At one moment honored, and at the next dishonored. In the material world of duality, it is impossible to understand one thing without understanding its opposite. It is not possible to understand what honor is unless I understand dishonor. Similarly, I cannot understand what misery is if I have never tasted happiness, nor can I understand what happiness is unless I have tasted misery. One has to transcend such dualities, but as long as this body is here, these dualities will be here also. Insofar as one strives to get out of bodily conceptions, not out of the body but out of bodily conception, one has to learn to tolerate such dualities. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna informs Arjuna that the duality of distress and happiness is due to the body alone. It's like a skin disease or skin itch. Just because there is itching, one should not be mad after it to scratch it. We should not go mad or give up our duty just because mosquitoes bite us. There are so many dualities one has to tolerate. But if the mind is fixed in Krishna consciousness, all these dualities will seem insignificant. How is it one can tolerate such dualities? Jnana vijnana triptatma kutasto vijitendriyaha yukta iti uchyate yogi samalostasra kanchanaha. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones or gold, as the same. Bhagavad Gita 6.8. Jnana means theoretical knowledge and Vijnana refers to practical knowledge. For instance, a science student has to study theoretical scientific conceptions as well as applied science. Theoretical knowledge alone will not help. One has to be able to also apply this knowledge. Similarly, in yoga, one should have not only theoretical knowledge but practical knowledge. Simply understanding I am not this body and at the same time acting in a nonsensical way will not help. There are so many societies where the members seriously discuss Vedanta philosophy while smoking and drinking and enjoying a sensual life. It will not help if one only has knowledge theoretically. This knowledge must be demonstrated. One who truly understands I am not this body will actually reduce his bodily necessities to a minimum. When one increases the demands of the body while thinking I am not this body, then of what use is that knowledge? A person can only be satisfied when there is jnana and vijnana side by side. When a person is situated on the practical level of spiritual realization, it should be understood he is actually situated in yoga. It is not that one should continue to attend yoga classes and yet remain the same throughout his life. There must be practical realization, and what is the sign of that practical realization? The mind will be calm and quiet and no longer agitated by the attraction of the material world. Thus self-controlled, one is not attracted by the material glitter and he sees everything, pebbles, stones or gold, as the same. In the material civilization, so much paraphernalia is produced just to satisfy the senses. These things are produced under the banner of material advancement. He who is studied in yoga sees such paraphernalia as just so much rubbish in the street. Moreover, Suhuran mitra riudasina madhyastha dvesha bandhushu sadhushu apicha papeshu samabhuddhir visishyate. A person is said to be still further advanced when he regards all the harnessed well-wisher friends and enemies, the envious, the pious, the sinner, and those who are indifferent and impartial with an equal mind. Bhagavad Gita 6.9. There are different kinds of friends. There is Suhrit, who is by nature a well-wisher and is always desiring one's welfare. Mitra refers to an ordinary friend, and Udasina is one who is neutral. In this material world, someone may be my well-wisher, friend, or neither friend nor enemy but neutral. Someone else may serve as a mediator between me and my enemies, and in this verse is called Madhyastha. One may also see someone as pious and another as sinful according to his own calculations. But when he is situated in transcendence, all of these friends, enemies or whatever cease to exist. When one becomes actually learned, he does not see any enemy or any friend, because in actuality no one is my enemy, no one is my friend, no one is my father, no one is my mother, etc. We are all simply living entities playing on a stage in the dress of father, mother, children, friend, enemy, sinner and saint, etc. It is like a great drama with so many characters playing their parts. However, on the stage a person may be an enemy or whatever, but off the stage all the actors are friends. Similarly, with these bodies we are playing on the stage of material nature, and we attach so many designations to one another. I may be thinking this is my son, but in actuality I cannot beget any son. It is not possible. At the utmost I can only beget a body. It is not within any man's power to beget a living entity. Merely by sexual intercourse a living entity cannot be begotten. The living entity must be placed in the emulsification of secretions. This is the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus all the multifarious relationship between bodies are just so much stage play. One who is actually realized and has actually attained yoga no longer sees these bodily distinctions. Perfection of yoga. Yoga as freedom from duality and designation. Archita, is it the same in the spiritual body? Is it the same in the spiritual body? Is the spiritual body actually composed of many living entities, but there is one living entity? Pushta Krishna, the spiritual body is identical with the soul. Here in the material world there is duality, inferior and superior. In the spiritual world everything is of a superior nature. There is no duality, there is no material. Morning walk, June 8, 1976, Los Angeles. Krishna consciousness is so nice. If you apply it in any field of activity, you will see it is perfect. Either you apply in industry or in politics or in sociology or in philanthropy or in science. Therefore, Bhagavata says that whatever capacity you may have, either you are a scientist or a lawyer or an engineer or a rich man, a capitalist, whatever you may be, your duty is to utilize your talent for Krishna consciousness. That's all. That is perfection. Yes, a devotee, purport. A Krishna conscious person does not make much endeavor or even to maintain his body. He is satisfied with gains which are obtained of their own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as in his own power, and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. A Krishna conscious person is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service to Krishna. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of the material world. The duality of the material is felt in terms of heat and cold or misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above this duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. As he does not care for duality, therefore he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is full in transcendental knowledge. Bhagavad Gita 4.19 through 25, Los Angeles, January 9, 1969. So, Esham Antagatam Papam, Papa means sin. One who has been completely freed from the reactions of sinful acts. Antagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam, of those persons who are simply engaged in activity of piety, those people, Dvandva Moha Nirmuktaha, they can become free from this Punya Karmanam. Of those persons who are simply engaged in activity of piety, those people, Dvandva Moha Nirmuktaha, they can become free from this duality of interest. That means one who becomes Krishna conscious, he has no distinction between one person to another. He has no distinction. Oh, this is Indian, this is American, this is Chinese, this is Russian. No, he transcends this. By Krishna consciousness, we can transcend this material consciousness of different interests. We have no other interest except realization of our own self. But because due to our ignorance, we have created our different interest, and we are committing sins and breaking the laws of nature, and therefore we are gradually by and by becoming more and more entangled in this material nature. So the Lord says that one who has surpassed this material nature and ignorance, they can become free from this conception of duality, bhajante mam, and becomes a perfect devotee of myself. That means, in other words, one who becomes perfectly Krishna consciousness, he becomes liberated from this conception of duality or illusion of duality. He becomes a perfect man, jara marana mokshaya. Bhagavad Gita 7.28 to 8 chapter 6 verse. New York, October 23, 1966. So in one way you stop your impious activities, in another way you improve your spiritual understanding. In this way, esham twan antagatam papam janana punyak. Antagatam papam means to stop. Antagatam. So if you engage yourself in pious activities, in Krishna conscious activities, where is the scope of doing nonsense work? Therefore it is stopped. Automatically it is stopped. So esham antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam. In this way, te dvandva moha nirmukta. Bhagavad Gita 7.28. They have no other engagement. They do not know anything else except Krishna. Dvandva moha. Dvandva means duality and illusion. Moha means illusion. Nirmukta. He becomes liberated from these two things. Duality means whether I shall become Krishna conscious or this conscious, material consciousness. This is duality, whether this or that. But one who is firmly convinced, Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana, Bhagavad Gita 2.4, one who is firmly convinced that Krishna bhakti koile sarva karma kritaha, if I become Krishna conscious, then every perfection is there. This conviction, then there is no duality, whether I shall do it or not do it, I must do it. Dvandva and moha and illusion, and except Krishna consciousness, everything is moha, illusion. Except Krishna consciousness, all illusion. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.13, New Vrindavan, June 16, 1969. कल्पायित्वात्मना यावत् आभासम इदम ईश्वरः द्वैतं तावन् न विरमेत् ततो हि अस्य विपर्ययः. As long as a living entity is not completely self-realized, as long as he is not independent of the misconception of identity with this body, which is nothing but a reflection of the original body and senses, he cannot be relieved of the conception of duality, which is epitomized by the duality between man and woman. Thus, there is every chance that he will fall down because his intelligence is bewildered. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Here is another important warning that a man must save himself from attraction to women. Until one is self-realized, fully independent of the illusory conception of the material body, the duality of man and woman must undoubtedly continue. But when one is actually self-realized, this distinction ceases. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini suni chaiva swapakecha panditaha samadarshinaha. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater outcast. Bhagavad Gita 5.18. On the spiritual platform, the learned person not only gives up the duality of man and woman, but also gives up the duality of man and animal. This is the test of self-realization. One must realize perfectly that the living being is spirit, soul, but is tasting various types of material bodies. One may theoretically understand this, but when one has practical realization, then he actually becomes a pandita, one who knows. Until that time, the duality continues, and the conception of man and woman also continues. In this stage, one should be extremely careful about mixing with women. No one should think himself perfect and forget the Shastric instruction that one should be very careful about associating with his daughter, even with his daughter, mother or sister, not to speak of other women. Srila Madhvacharya cites the following shlokas in this regard. Bahutvenaiva svastunam hitartha jnanam uchyate advaita jnanam iti etat dvaita jnanam tad anyatha yata jnanam tatatvastu yatha vastu sata matihi naiva jnanartayor vedas tata ekatva vedanam. Unity in variety is real knowledge, and therefore Giving up variety artificially does not reflect perfect knowledge of monism. According to Achintya Vedanta philosophy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there are varieties, but all of them constitute one unit. Such knowledge is knowledge of perfect oneness. Vadanti tat tattvavidastatvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabhyate. The absolute truth, those who know about absolute truth, they say, Srimad Bhagavatam describes about the absolute. Vadanti tat tattvavidas, tattvavidaha means those who are in the knowledge about the absolute truth. Vadanti tat, they describe that thing as absolute truth. What is that? Advaya jnana. There is no duality of knowledge, that is absolute truth. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yad advayam jnanam. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.8-11. Advaya jnana means just like you are Mr. Such and Such, and when you are not present, if I ask Mr. Such and Such, please help me in this way, but you are not present, you cannot help. Therefore it is duality. Your name and you, person duality, and Advaya means Advaya Jnana means non-duality, means the person of this name is the same. Otherwise, what is the use of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare? Then what? Then in that way I can chant anyone's name. No, this Krishna name and Krishna is absolute truth. Advaya Jnana, non-duality. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20.146151, New York, December 3, 1966. In the Kurma Purana, it is said that the Supreme Personality of this Parabrahman has no distinction between his body and self. There is no absolute, means there is no duality. As we have got duality, I am the soul and this body, they are different. Therefore Shastra says, Yasyatma Buddhi Kronapetri Dhatrike, Srimad Bhagavatam 10.84.13. If anyone accepts this body as self, this body is made of three dhatus, kapha, pitta, vayu. I am not this body. And Bhagavad Gita also says, Dehinosmi nata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Tata dehantara prapti. So Dehi means possessor of this body, the owner of this body. So owner of this body is different from this body. But in case of Krishna or Vishnu Tattva, there is no such difference. The self and the body no different. That is confirmed in the Kurma Purana. Unfortunately, the Mayavadis, they either due to their forefront of knowledge of the Shastras or by their whims, they say that Krishna or Vishnu when comes, or the absolute truth when he descends, he assumes he accepts a material body. That is not the fact. Krishna says, Sambhavami Atma Bhayaya, both in the 4.6. It is not that Krishna accepts a material body. No, Krishna has no such distinction, material world. Therefore Krishna says, Avajananti Mamoda Manushim Tanamashitaha, 9.11. Because I present myself, discern myself as a human being, the Mudas or the rascals, they think of me or deride me at me. The Mayavadis, they will never worship the transcendental form of the Lord. They will not worship, they will worship the impersonal. And Krishna has says, Kleshodikatarastesham abhyakta sakta chetasam. Of course, impersonal, personal is the same, absolute truth. But if you try to reach the absolute truth through his impersonal attachment, then it will be more troublesome. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 6.149 through 50, Gorakhpur, February 13, 1971. So your prayer Nirakara or Gagana Sadrisha, that is one feature of Krishna. Krishna is person. The Nirakara, Brahman feature is effulgence of the body. that is expressed in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahmanaha aham pratishta. The absolute truth is realized in three stages, three angles of vision, according to the capacity of the devotee. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam ejnanam advayam. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11. Tattvavid. Tattvavid means one who has realized the supreme truth. He is called Tattvavid. Tattva means supreme truth, and Vid means one who knows. So Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11. Those who know what is absolute truth, they say that is the absolute truth, which is Advaya Jnana. Advaya Jnana means without any duality. Just like here in this material world, it is called dual world, duality. Everything cannot be understood absolutely. If I say it is a rather in ordinary language, relative world. Here everything is relative. Just like if I say father, father has no meaning if there is no son. Duality. If I say good, so unless I have got good idea of bad, I cannot understand good. If I say light, unless I have got conception of darkness, I cannot understand light. So here everything is duality, relative knowledge, relative world. But in the absolute world, everything is one, spirit here, because here we have got experience two energies, spiritual energy and material energy working. The material energies are the physical elements, Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayuhu. 7.14. 4. Earth, water, fire, air, sky, and in subtle form, mind, intelligence, ego. They are all material. Mind is also material. Intelligence is also material, but they are subtle forms, and spiritual existence is a living entity as we are. These things are very nicely explained in Bhagavad Gita. Apareyam itastu viddime prakritim param. The material physical elements, they are inferior quality of inferior quality energy of Krishna. But the superior quality of energy, we are living entities. Jiva Bhutatma Mahabaho Yedam Dharete Jagat. 7.5. Bhagavad Gita lecture 7th chapter 1st verse, Auckland, April 15, 1972. The following is a reading about Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto 9th chapter 11th verse. Jadabharata used to work only for food. His stepbrothers took advantage of this and engaged him in agricultural field work in exchange for some food. But actually, he did not know how to work very well in the field. He did not know where to spread dirt or where to make the ground level or uneven. His brothers used to give him broken rice, oil cakes, chaff of rice, worm-eaten grains and burned grains that had stuck to the pot. But he gladly accepted all this as if it were nectar. He did not hold any grudge and ate all this very gladly. The platform of Paramahamsa is described in Bhagavad Gita 2.15. Samadhukka sukham dhiram somrutatvaya kalpate. When one is callous to all duality, the happiness and distress of this material world, one is fit for amritattva, eternal life. Bharata Maharaja was determined to finish this business in this material world, and he did not at all care for the world of duality. He was complete in Krishna consciousness and was oblivious to good and evil, happiness and distress, as stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 4.176. Dvaite Badra Badra Jnana Sabha Mano Dharma Ei Bhala Ei Manda Sabha Brahma. In the material world, conception of good and bad are all material mental circulations. Therefore, saying this is good and this is bad is all a mistake. One has to understand that in the material world of duality, to think that this is good or that this is bad is simply a mental concoction. However, one should not imitate this consciousness. One should actually be situated in the spiritual platform of neutrality. Bhagavatam 5.9.11. So when there is no these material impediments, naturally the life is eternal, the knowledge is eternal, the bliss is eternal. As soon as we are free from this material body, then these questions of past, present, future, pleasure, not pleasure, knowledge, no knowledge, these dualities, this world of duality will finish. The impersonalists, the Mayavadi philosophers, they think that because the past, present and future and this duality is finished, therefore there is no variegatedness. They cannot understand. They cannot accommodate in their tiny brain that this is possible. Bhagavad Gita 4.5, Montreal, June 10, 1968. Therefore, it is stated here that my appearance, disappearance and activity and glories, they are divyam. Divyam means transcendental. They do not belong to this world of duality. This world is of duality, but transcendental means that it is above this duality. Dualism is the absolute world. So anyone who understands this fact that Krishna is not different from this sound Krishna, Krishna is not different from this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is not different from anything which is connected with Krishna. These things are to be understood. Bhagavad Gita 4.9 through 11, New York, January 25, 1966. As one mistakenly considers a flower garland to be a snake or experiences happiness and distress in a dream, so in the material world, by lack of careful consideration, we differentiate between happiness and distress, considering one good and the other bad. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Thus, happiness and distress of the material world of duality are both mistaken ideas. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 4.176, it is said, Dvaite Badra Badra Jnana Sabha Mano Dharma, E Bolo, E Manda, E Sabha Brahma. The distinctions between happiness and distress in the material world of duality are simply mental concoctions, for the so-called happiness and distress are actually one and the same. They are like the happiness and distress in dreams. A sleeping man creates his happiness and distress by dreaming, although actually they have no existence. The another example given in this verse is that a flower garland is originally very nice, but by mistake for want of mature knowledge, one may consider it a snake. In this connection, there is a statement. Next. That was from 6th chapter, 6th canto, 17th chapter, 30th verse. Srila